All right, hello class. So we are back continuing our study of ratios, and today we're going to be mixing colors. Okay, you might have done something like this in an art class with some paint before. Um, so we're going to look at it in the context of a math lesson on ratios. What we're going to do is we're going to be using the manipulative here that's linked, and so we're going to be clicking on that in a little bit. First, I want to go through some of the items they want us to talk about here. Your teacher mixed milliliters of blue water and milliliters of yellow water in the ratio of 5 to 15. Okay, we're going to do that in a little bit. We want to think about what it means to double the original recipe. So they want us to draw a diagram to represent the amount of each color you will combine to double your teacher's recipe, this recipe right here. And so if we double it, we need to understand that means we're going to take the parts of the recipe, the ingredients, and we're gonna multiply them by 2, double times 2. So we're gonna do 5 times 2, and we're gonna do 15 times 2. And so your diagram can look all kinds of different ways, but the main thing that it needs to have is 5 blue and 15 yellow. And so here's one example where there's 5 blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 15 yellow, right? 5, 10, 15, okay? Then when we double the amount, we're going to have a second with the same ratio, right? 5 to 15, 5 to 15. So you can use dots, you can use circles, okay? So it doesn't have to be squares, but the idea is you need 5 blue and 15 yellow, okay? So that's important for your diagram. Now, we want to think about what it means here. They ask us to use a marker to label an empty cup with the ratio of blue water to yellow water in this double batch. So let's go back to that double batch and see how much do we have of each color. So for blue, there were 5 blue, but then we added in another 5 blue. So that's 10 blue, right? And then there were 15 yellow, and then we doubled that. We added another 15 yellow. So 15 and 15, that's 30. So our ratio is going to be 10 blue to 30 yellow. Okay, so that's what happens when we double it. If you look here, you can see that we are taking the amounts in the original formula and we are doubling it. Okay, you can see right here, I'm going to go ahead and show you here, 5 to 10, that's times 2, and then 15 down to 30, and that is also times 2. Okay, so that's what we do to double the recipe. Okay, so let's go ahead and use the manipulative now, and let's see what it looks like. So if you click on the link to the manipulative, you're going to scroll down a little bit to down here, turning green, 4.2, turning green. Okay, so the way it works is you select the amount of each ingredient that you want, and then you look at the color and see what it is. So I'll go ahead and click show amounts as well here. Right now we don't have anything, of course. Remember the original formula was 5 blue and 15 yellow. So let's see what that looks like. 5 blue and 15 yellow. So I'm going to choose 5 blue and then 15 yellow. So if I go by plus 5, I have to add 1, 2, 3 of those, right? So that's our shade of color that we're looking at here. That's the shade of green we're working with now. If we double the batch, that means 10 blue and 30 yellow. So on this other beaker here, with other cylinder, we can go ahead and add in 10 blue and then 30 yellow. So if it's by plus 5, I'm going to be doing 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. You can see it's now the same. So as it should be, right? It's the same ratio. We're using the same ratio, 5 to 15, 10 to 30. Those are equivalent ratios. So it should give us the same color. Okay, so we can add that in right now. Color will be the same. Okay, and we just said that it is equivalent, right? So yes, the ratios are equivalent. Oops. There we go. Okay, so that's what happens when we double the recipe. The next part here asks us to triple the original recipe. So we've got to think, what does it mean to triple? If you look at the first three letters in the word triple, you can see try. Okay, so we're talking about 3. We're going to do it times 3. So if we wanted to make a diagram here, we're going to take this and there's going to be 3 of those. Okay, 5 to 15, there's going to be 3. Here you can see 2. To triple it, we're going to add in 1 more of these. So another set of 5 and 15, 5 blue and 15 yellow to triple it. And so we want to think about what that means. Okay, and so if we have 5 to 15 and we triple it, that means that we're going to take 5 times 3, and that's the blue. And then I'm going to use a colon. This will be 15 times 3 for the yellow. And if we figure out what that's actually going to give us, that means it's going to give us 15 blue and 45 yellow. Okay, so that's what's going to be in this new cup here when we've tripled the recipe. Okay, so is that going to be the same as these other two here, 15 and 45? Let's just check it out in the manipulative that we started here. I'm going to reset these here. So we'll leave this intact. This is the double recipe. And let's go ahead and triple it. If we triple it, it's 15 blue. So 1, 2, 3, that's 15. You can see it in between 10 and 20. And you can see they tell us it's 15 here as well, in case you wanted to be certain. And then 45 yellow, if we're going by 5s, we're going to need 9 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a match. So yes, it makes sense that we would have an equivalent color. If we look at the original batch here, we hit reset, it was 5 to 15, right? 5 to 15, yep, it's a match. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to, you can play around with this, and they want you to make a recipe that is going to give you a bluer shade of green, right? Just to make sure you're clear, C and D here, your answers are going to say that yes, we have equivalent ratios, and the shade is the same, just as we said right here. Color will be the same, ratios will be equivalent. For a bluer shade of water, think about what you can do. Okay, so there's a couple things that you can do. So let's go back to, we have the original recipe of 5 to 15. If we want a bluer shade, we can do a couple different things. We can add in more blue. Okay, so if we add in a blue, okay, that's a little bit bluer. And if we keep adding blue, look at what happens. The more blue you add, eventually you've got a whole new color, and eventually now you just have, it looks blue right now, right? Even though we know that there's 15 yellow in there, but there's so much blue that what you're looking at looks really, really blue, right? So you can do that, or if you go back to the original 5 and 15, 1, 2, 3, what would happen if you take away some of the yellow? Whoops, so it was 5 and 15. Instead of 5 and 15, let's do 5 and 10. Okay, not quite as blue, right? If we just do 5 and 5, we have that. It's a different shade of green, right? So it's a bluer shade of green. You can say you can play around with that and use the amounts that you'd like. Look, keep track of how much you have of each here, and then share your answers down here and follow through the directions to complete this number 3. All right.